Alrighty, it's Friday night again. Welcome back to the man cave. First of all, I want to apologize for last week. I got a little bit sideways because of the problems we were having with the video quality. Tanya and I hammered that out for a little while earlier in the week, and I've made some changes here to see if it makes any difference. I have basically all I've done tonight is I've switched browsers. I'm using a different web browser tonight to see if that alleviates any of the problems. If we have any video quality problems on the receiving end tonight, just let me know in the comments, and I'll go back after the live stream and have a look at it. I've also been with tech support on Crowdcast, and I'm monitoring my CPU utilization here, and I'm monitoring my bandwidth usage at the same time to see if any of that could possibly be giving us any issues. So with that, we'll get started. Let me know who you are and where you're from tonight over here in the comments. I got Scott Love with us tonight. Scott, it's good to see you. My wife still loves your coffee. And yeah, we're going to have to get together at some point and talk about the Jura one of these days. And tonight I'm going to once again go to my lovely crystal decanter that my mom bought me for Christmas, and we're going to have a couple of fingers of Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select, which is still one of my favorites. I'm probably going to have to go after a refill on that one before long. So, cheers. We've got Greg with us from Hershey, Pennsylvania. My wife and I stopped in Hershey on our New England State road trip honeymoon after we got married. Scott's from Marietta, Georgia, and let's see, Dave's from South Bend, Indiana. Dave, you're from my wife's favorite place on the planet. That's where her Subaru Crosstrek, I think, or her Subaru Outback, that she no longer has, was made, but that's the car that made her fall in love with Subaru. Aren't those made up there in South Bend? So, somewhere in Indiana, that car Subaru plant where they make the Outbacks. But yeah, it's been a crazy week around here. Where are my Texas fans tonight? I hope your internet connections haven't been iced up to where they're not working. That's been some crazy weather in the central, and I guess it kind of came up through Tornado Alley there. I got a friend that posted a picture from some marina in the Houston area, and all the boats were just iced over. It looked like the North Pole had come through southern Texas. Got some friends up in Austin that are shoveling snow off of their grilling decks. I've seen a lot of sub-zero and single-digit temperatures out there this week. All of that stuff came up across the country, and it all stayed west of the Appalachian Mountains, so we didn't really get any of it here where I live. So the weather here has just been kind of cold and rainy. Today was sunny. It was pretty outside today, and it got up to almost 50 degrees here today in western North Carolina. So one of the things I wanted to start out with tonight is talking about charcoal. This is a subject that I feel strongly about. There's a lot of this is a daily thing in social media too. You can go to about any grilling forum. Well, it's probably more in the Kamado forums, the Kamado Joe forum and the Big Green Egg forum when get into these arguments and debates about charcoal. Somebody, the new guy of the day, will pop into a forum and toss the question out there that's been tossed out a gazillion times before. Say, what's the best charcoal? What charcoal should I be using? And then everybody dives in and talks about, you know, their favorite brand of charcoal and why they don't like all the other ones. But last summer, some of you are aware, I did some charcoal testing here. I set up some fairly reasonable tests to determine, the main reason I did is to figure out what I like and what I want to be using. And what ultimately has come out of my charcoal tests is that I like two kinds of charcoal. I like two different types of charcoal. I have two Kamado grills, the two Kamado Joe Classics. They're on my deck. I've got one of them set up. That's where I cook meat. And the other one, I cook everything else. And this is how my charcoal tests have shaken down. There's really two types of charcoal here that most people have easy access to. The Kamado Joe Big Block, the Fogo, the Jealous Devil. I don't know who all else falls into this category, but these charcoals are South American hardwood charcoals, and they're all made from similar kinds of wood. They're not all the same. Some of them are single species of wood. Some of them aren't. But they're all basically made the same way, and those charcoals are heavier and denser than some of the American-made charcoals that I like. The two American-made charcoals that I really like are Rockwood and Royal Oak. Oops. Hang on here. I'm having technical difficulties for just a second. Okay, I'm back. I need to touch apparently I don't have my screen time out where I thought I had it, and my screen went blank. So, is everybody still with me? I think this is still working. Okay, good. But now where was I? I was talking about South American charcoal. I like Royal Oak and Rockwood that are American-made charcoals. They're made with a different technique, and as far as I'm concerned, Royal Oak and Rockwood are equals. Based on all the testing I did, the results I got from those two charcoals were almost identical. So take your pick on what you want. If you want to try these guys out, Rockwood costs a lot. Royal Oak you can get at Walmart, and it's cheap. And I got equal results from both of those. Those charcoals are more fully carbonized than the South American hardwood charcoals are. And what that means to you and I is that they will burn hotter. They will burn with less smoke. And they'll basically just burn cleaner, hotter, and they do burn longer. Both of those charcoals outperformed all of the South American hardwood charcoals that I tested in maximum temperature and longevity. And like I said, the Rockwood and the Royal Oak were about the same. I got almost the differences in those two were insignificant. And both of them were well above all of the others in longevity and maximum temperature. So I use those charcoals in my Kamado Joe Classic 2, and I've got my Kamado Joe Classic 2 set up for when I want to do baking and other things where I don't want a hard smoke profile. One of the things I can do, I can cook bread, I can cook pizza, I can bake a cake, I can cook a pie on that grill. And when I'm running it at a reasonable temperature with these clean burning charcoals, I don't get the smokiness that I get when I would use something like the South American hardwood charcoals. And my wife is better at telling this difference than I am. She has a lot keener sense of taste when it comes to smoke than I do, because I eat so much stuff that's come off the grill. I've become desensitized to a lot of it, but she can tell it. Uh, and what pushed me over the edge on this decision was when I did the pumpkin bread back. I think I did it in November or December. I got my mom's pumpkin bread recipe and I cooked it on the grill. And I gave my wife some of that, and she could not tell that it had been cooked on the grill. So that was a huge success. That was cooked. I can't remember if I used Royal Oak or Rockwood, but I used one of those, and I cooked it on the clean grill. There's no, since I cook pizzas on that Classic 2, that grill doesn't really have any grease residue in it anymore. It's basically, it gets a hot burn every time I run the dojo in it, and there's no smoke being generated in that grill from grease residue that's left behind from a prior cook. So I don't get any sharp smoke profile from the charcoal itself, and there's no smoke residue coming from leftover grease in the grill that can impart itself into the flavor of the food either. So that's where I've come. That's where I've landed. I like the Rockwood and the Royal Oak for when I'm cooking everything but meat. If I want to cook meat, if I want to smoke a butt, a brisket, ribs, or if I want to grill steaks, burgers, or something else, chicken, fish, whatever, I'm going to cook them on my Kamado Joe Classic 3, and I'm going to use one of the South American hardwood varieties of charcoal. And what I have found in my own taste is I get enough smoke from the charcoal alone that I don't really need to add smoke chunks to my smoker or grill to be happy with the smoke results I get from that. Some of you may have heard me talking about pellet grills in the past. I love the lighter, cleaner smoke profile that you get from a pellet grill because of the way it burns. It's a very small, hot fire with near total combustion, so there's not a lot of the volatile chemicals left over that are what flavors your food like smoke. There is some, but it's not as intense as a smoldering piece of charcoal that's not fully carbonized. You're going to get smoke from that. So you've got to be considerate of the different types of wood and how they're made when you're figuring out what you want to use. I see a lot. This is another thing that I see mainly with newer people in the Kamado community is how much smoking wood they'll put in that smoker. You see a lot of people talking about how they'll get a chemical smell or a flavor on their stuff when they're smoking, and I think a lot of that, not always, but I think a lot of that comes from the amount of smoking wood chunks you put in that grill. People put 4 or 5 or 6 fist-sized chunks in there. That is a lot of smoke. That really lays down heavy smoke. I always recommend, if any of you guys have seen that free electronic book that I've written called I don't even remember what I named it now. It's the book that should have come with your Kamado. It's the Kamado Book of Knowledge. Is what I've called it. And I speak very specifically in that book about starting out. Use less smoke wood instead of more. And if you think you need more, then add it on the next cook, because nobody is ever going to come to your dinner table and tell you that you undersmoked something, that you didn't put enough smoke on it. But if they smell like smoke when they leave your house and they haven't been anywhere near the grill, you probably put too much smoking wood in. So those are some things I want you to keep in mind when you're smoking stuff. I've determined for my personal use, I'm going to be using 2 different styles of charcoal for 2 different tasks, and I'm really going to limit the amount of smoking wood I put in anything anymore to practically nothing. There may be some occasions where I'll add 1 chunk. I'll never add more. I'll take 1 fist-sized chunk and I'll take my hatchet and break it into 3 or 4 pieces, and I'll never put more than that in 1 smoking session. So that's what I wanted to say about charcoal tonight. I know you've heard me rant about charcoal over and over again. See, we got a couple of questions going here. Greg says, did you ever try making your own charcoal? No, I haven't tried making my own in any volume. I have experimented with that idea, and one of the things I've done is I'll take a piece of smoking wood sometimes and wrap it up in foil and just toss it in the firebox. If I'm or you can put it in a can, a metal can or something, just something that's airtight, something that won't let any air in or out of the can, and that wood chunk will carbonize in there while you're cooking. I've played with that just to see what the process looks like, but I've never done it in volume. I'm not interested in the work it takes to do that in order to get enough of it to do me any good. I burn through so much charcoal here that it's just not realistic for me to even consider doing that. There's not a week that goes by that I don't burn 20 or 30 pounds of charcoal here, and that some weeks it's even more than that. So no, I haven't tried it. Another question, Mark Ellsworth says, any experience with cowboy? My experience with cowboy lump is limited, but it was the very first lump charcoal I ever used. When I bought my char griller Acorn way back when, I did buy several bags of cowboy, and I didn't have any issues with it. I've only used 1 bag since then. Back when I did the charcoal test that I was just talking about, I bought a bag of the cowboy, and the cowboy, I don't have any problems with it. I've never had any issues with cowboy, and I'll be honest and straight up with you, the cowboy performed as good or better than all of the South American ones did, including Kamado Joe, including Fogo, including Jealous Devil. Out of the 3 there, the Kamado Joe performed better than the Fogo, and the Fogo performed better. The Jealous Devil was at the bottom of the list on the South American hardwoods that I tested, but the cowboy did fine. Cowboy gets a bad rap. I'm not really sure why, but I have used it. I have used most of these brands of charcoal that you've seen. There aren't but a few that I haven't tried. I mean, of course, there are some boutique charcoals around that I haven't used, but most of the major brands of stuff I've used, and I've used a good bit of all of them. So that's where I landed on that. So the next thing I want to do here is figure out where my I lost one of my screens here when my screen went blank, so let me bring it back up. I was going to show you, I've got some photographs I want to show you. Some stuff that I've done this week. Here we go. Google's making me log back in here because this is not my dadgummit. I had this all set up and ready to go, and I lost it when my screen went blank on me. So give me just a moment here to get this back. Okay, this browser's not logged into Google for me, so let me bring up the other one that is. This is such a hassle when you've got multiple Google accounts. So Chrome's coming back up whether I want it or not. Maybe. If I can get logged into this one. All of them are asking me to log back in now. Okay, I can't get logged in, so maybe I'm not going to be able to show you any photos tonight. See, if it's not one thing, it's another. Okay. One moment, I'm still trying. The problem is my LastPass. I got to get this secure password that I don't even know what it is out so I can log into this. There we go. This should do the trick. Okay, now I'm in. So let's go down here and I'm going to show you some photos on screen share here of what I've had going on here at the man cave this week. Now we're in business. Okay. Once again, these are the links to my Patreon page where I'm posting some exclusive content. If you guys would like to follow me over there, I appreciate those of you who are supporting me there. And this crowdcast.io/JMSettler is where you can keep up with anything I'm doing on a live stream. That's how you got in here tonight. So, one of the first things that went down this week was on Tuesday. I got to have my Valentine's Day dinner with my wife, and the favorite thing that I do for her is the slot dogs. These have become a staple around here. I'm going to show you the slot dog here in a little bit. That's one of the gadgets I'm going to show you tonight that does these hot dogs this way. It crosshatch cuts these hot dogs. And the way these things cook and the way they taste when they're cooked like this is just incredible. This is the only way we do hot dogs here anymore. And the way my wife likes these is we buy the top slit hot dog buns, and I put my homemade hot dog chili in the bottom of that bun, and I put my homemade pimento cheese on the top. And after the hot dog's cooked, I assemble that like that, and I throw it back in the grill for a few minutes at about 450, where I've cooked the hot dog to melt that pimento cheese and to toast those buns. And they're absolutely amazing. They're really good. But the reason this is such an amazing thing here is because that pimento cheese and that hot dog chili are about the two things I make that she likes better than everything else. So Ryan Lowry there, he's apparently tried my recipe, so he knows how good my pimento cheese is. So that's where that lands. So I'll show you the well, something else is wrong here now. There we go. This is the slot dog. It's a plastic device that's got these crosshatch cutters on the bottom of it. And the way this thing works is you put your hot dogs in the freezer for about 10 minutes or so before you're ready to use this. And then you hit this guy with just a puff or two of cooking spray. I lay my hot dogs down on the cutting board and press this down on it, and then take it up, peel that hot dog off, put it down with the scored side down, and do the back side, and do the same thing. And you just do all your hot dogs this way. And what I do is I put these on the grill. I get my grill up to about 450 indirect and put those slot dogs on there, and it takes 10 to 12 minutes to cook those things, and they just come out with an amazing flavor. But there's a little story about how I ended up with the slot dog. I was at a trade show in Atlanta several years ago with Kamado Joe, and I was just walking around looking at all the vendor booths, and I heard somebody yelling at me. And some guy had recognized me from across the way, and he was asking me to come over to his booth. And he was a rep that was out there, pimping this guy, pimping the slot dog. I looked at this thing, and I said, man, you're crazy. I said, nobody's going to want that. And he says, no, man, I'm serious. He says, if you like hot dogs, which I do, he says, you really need to try this. He says, I want to give you one. He says, you take it home and you try it and you keep it. I'm not asking you to do a review on it. I'm not asking you to show it to anybody. He says, but if you do like it, then I'd like for you to tell people about it. So I did. I brought it home. But before I ever got home with it, I was on foot that day, and I had a dinner set up with a bunch of Kamado Joe fans and company people there. And these, I still had this in my bag. I was carrying it around, and I was joking with people about it. I said, I'd pull this out. And before I even left the trade show, I was back at the Kamado Joe booth, and Bobby Brennan says, what the hell is that? And I said, this is the next big thing. And he looked at it, and he said, I told him what it was, and he said, you're crazy. He says, I guess we're going to see a video on that soon, aren't we? And I said, well, I don't know. And so I brought it home, and I tried it, and that meal, my wife says, she says, as far as I'm concerned, that's the only way we're going to cook hot dogs around here anymore. And I love this thing. And at the time, these things were $15 on Amazon, but when I looked this up the other night, they've gone up. These things are up to $20 now. So I highly recommend getting one of these. And sure, if you want to cross-hatch your hot dogs with a steak knife, feel free. This is just easy. You can throw it in the dishwasher when you're done. And in fact, that's the way you should clean this, is in the dishwasher, and save it till next time. And I bought a couple more of these that I was going to give away that I've never gotten around to giving away. So if you'll stay tuned, I might just get a giveaway going on one of these if I can figure out what I did. I see one of them right there. So yeah, we'll have a giveaway over on the Patreon page for a slot dog here in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. But that is, that's something that's going on that everybody should at least try once in their life, is the slot dog. So the next thing I've got here is, let's go back to the photographs. One of the other things I made this week, I've got a short video that's going to be coming out probably on Thursday of next week. I made another pizza sauce video. I made a pizza sauce video a while back on the Atlanta Grill Company YouTube channel and Facebook page. That's a uncooked tomato sauce. That's the style of sauce you would use on a like a Neapolitan pizza, or even you can use it on pasta even if you want to. But I do a cooked version of the same sauce that's more reminiscent of a New York style sauce. The ingredients list is almost identical to the other sauce, but this one's got some sugar in it, or got a more sugar in it, and you cook it to reduce it a little bit. So I made a batch of this, and I actually used this on a pizza that I made that you're going to get to see here in just a few minutes. But there will be a video out this coming week on this pizza sauce. That video will probably show up on Thursday, so keep your eyes open for that. Where are we next here? This is the next gadget I wanted to talk about this week. These pizza peels. These things are made by a company called GI Metal. And the big one there with the long handle, I've had it for quite a while. And I use that pizza peel with that Alpha oven because it's got a long enough handle on it. I can get into the back of that oven without having to worry about it much. But the shorter one is probably long enough also, but I just didn't know any better when I bought it. But Atlanta Grill Company's recently picked up this line of pizza peels, and I bought the short-handled version that you see here. I bought that this week, and it showed up on Wednesday. And both of those in that picture there, the peel's 14 inches wide. And for those of you who have Kamado Joes with the dojo, this 14-inch wide peel fits right into the dojo. And Atlanta Grill Company is also carrying a 16-inch wide version that will fit into the Big Joe dojo, so you can put a bigger pizza in with that. But these pizza peels are amazing. They're very well made. They're super heavy duty. Excuse me, but they're aluminum. The handle's aluminum, and the peel itself is aluminum. And the peel is perforated. And what I love about the perforated peel is once I shape my dough, I'm always shaping my pizza dough on a pastry mat that's got a good bit of flour on it, which allows me to slide that dough around and turn it and not have it sticking to anything. But the downside of that, there's a bunch of flour stuck to the back of my dough. And once I have the pizza stretched and shaped, I go ahead and put it on the peel. And then I top it on the peel where I don't have to move it after I've topped it. But this perforated peel allows you to pick it up and you give it a jiggle and let the pizza slide around on it. And that perforated peel allows that flour that may have stuck to the bottom of your pizza dough to scrape off and fall through, and it doesn't make it onto the hot deck in the oven. If you put a pizza on a 700 degree deck or a 900 degree deck that's got a bunch of flour, a bunch of excess flour on the bottom of it, that flour will burn and it tastes bad. It doesn't taste good at all. And a lot of people are afraid of a metal peel because the dough will stick to it. But if you're working at hotter temperatures, like if you're cooking at 600, 700, 800, 900 degrees, the dough that you're using is probably going to be a little bit lower hydration dough, like a 60% or 62.5% hydration dough. They're stiff enough that they really are not going to stick to these peels. They don't need any help. You don't even have to put, I don't use cornmeal. I use semolina flour when I want to put something on there, but there's really no need for any of that with the lower hydration dough. And this long peel, I've played around at 65% with it, and I haven't had any problems launching on that either. But these peels, these are what I classify as the really right stuff. They work really well. They don't have any faults that I can see. The bottom edge of these that's laying down on my deck here, that's a really sharp and thin edge, and you can actually scoop up a pizza off of a surface with this peel. While an uncooked pizza, after you practice with that a little bit, these peels are amazing. So if you're in the market for a high quality, high end, last one you'll ever buy pizza peel, have a look at these. There's a turning peel that they make, which I don't have a picture of here to show you. It's a small round peel. The one I'm looking at is an 8-inch diameter, and it's on a long handle also, but those are used like in this Alpha oven, and I also use it in the Rock Box to turn the pizza while it's in the oven, so you don't have to pull it out to rotate it. And I'm going to get the GI Metal turning peel, and I'm going to get the GI Metal rake also that you use to move coals around inside the grill to use with this Alpha oven. The Alpha oven's a great oven, but I'm not going to hesitate for 1 minute to tell you the tools that Alpha sells to go with these ovens are junk. They're not They're not very good. The handles have rotted off of every one of those. If you have to have the alpha tools, don't leave them outside because they will not survive in the weather. And these aluminum ones, if you see on the front of that alpha oven down underneath that little ledge, there's a deck there where you can put your tools and let them stay there. And these GI metal peels will be just fine outside. So that's the second gadget I had for tonight. So the next picture, where am I on pictures? Here we go. Oh, so this week's Pizza Cook was the second pizza in my 3-pizza series, and the pizza series is doing well, and this may turn into a 4-pizza series instead of a 3-pizza series, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But the first pizza was a 2-hour quick dough that I cooked on the Kamado Joe with the Dojo at about 500 to 525 degrees. The pizza that I cooked this week was a 24-hour cold ferment dough, and I cooked it on the Rock Box. This Rock Box is an amazing pizza oven. It's the only thing about it is that some people might not like is it's small. You can't get a pizza much bigger than about 12 inches in this oven. But this thing is what I would call a Phillips head screwdriver. It is a purpose-driven tool. This thing's designed to cook pizzas, and it's very good at it. This is what it looks like inside when the burner's going. And I just in this photograph, I've got a wood chunk back in there because I was experimenting to see if I could get a wood smoke aroma with a piece of wood burning in the back of this oven. But that's beside the point. This thing has got a ceramic deck, and it's propane fired, and you've got this flame lapping up over the top of the pizza. This thing gets screaming hot. And this week I wanted to cook it around 700 degrees since I cooked it around 500 degrees last week, and I decided to use the Rock Box to do that. And that's what the Rock Box looks like when it's burning and when it's really cruising along at high temperature. And here's the pizza that I put in that one. And it's a homemade dough, a very simple pepperoni pizza. And the cook went for, this cook at 700 to 725, somewhere along in there, went for about 3.5 minutes. And I want you to look at this pizza. If that doesn't make you hungry for a high temperature style pizza, I really don't know what would. I used pepperoni that I slice off the stick. I'm using this Bridgeford brand pepperoni. It's nothing fancy, but it's really good. And here at this angle, you can kind of see how that pepperoni cups up nicely when it cooks, and that's a good characteristic. That pepperoni has a little bit of a crispness to it, and you get the little charring on the bubbles, and you get a little bit of char around the edges, and that little bit of char is really what brings this pizza to life. But this pizza was even better because it was a 24-hour cold fermented dough, and the 24-hour cold ferment develops a really earthy flavor to the pizza, and we're going to expand on that this coming week. We're going to do the same thing again, but we're going to do a 72-hour dough, which tastes even better. And the point I'm trying to bring across with these 3 doughs is they're all the same ingredients. The only ingredient that changes is the amount of yeast. And there's no more hands-on time in any of these either. The delay is letting them ferment in the refrigerator overnight, but there's no additional hands-on work for any of this. That's another picture of it on the peel. The Gosney Rock Box, the pizza peel that comes with the Rock Box, is a perforated peel also. It's a really nice peel. There's a turning peel that you can get for the Gosney. It's an extra. It doesn't come with it, but it's well worth getting if you're going to have the rock box, you're going to want that turning peel as well. But that's the photographs I've got for this week, showing the stuff I've cooked. And let's see what we've got here in the question pool again. Randy Snyder, he's asking me about my thoughts on the Atlanta Grill Company charcoal. I don't have a good educated opinion on that charcoal. I've only used one bag of it, so I would really need to use some more of it before I could comment on that intelligently. So yeah, like I've used one bag of it. I bought one bag of it when I was doing this testing, but I had some problems with the testing when I was using that charcoal, so I tossed that charcoal out of the test. But I will get some more of that. I'll get some of that next time I go to Atlanta Grill Company. The results I got with it when I did the testing were not good, but I'm looking back on it. I think I had some other issues going on, and I want to try it again. I don't want to say that it's no good because I think that it is good. Atlanta Grill Company wouldn't be selling it if it wasn't. So Sharon says, did you share your chili recipe somewhere? I've got chili recipes all over the place. My most frequently, or actually my favorite of the ones I've done is the Guinness chili that's on the Atlanta Grill Company YouTube channel. That's a really great chili. But if you search the Kamado Joe YouTube channel for chili, you'll find several more, and you can just kind of take your pick. But the most recent one that I did that's on the Atlanta Grill Company YouTube channel, the Guinness chili, is my favorite one. So let's see. Jeff says he's used a couple of bags of the Atlanta Grill Company charcoal. But next time I'm down there, which hopefully won't be too far off, I'm probably going to make a run down there sometime in early March. I'll grab a couple and I'll put some time in on it. I don't know that charcoal, I believe, is made here in the USA, but I don't know a whole lot more about it. It's made in Georgia, but I'm not sure who's making that charcoal for them. I don't know if I even asked them that, but I'm not sure if they would even tell me if they did. So we'll stick with that. One of the things I'm going to do here now, for my sake, is I am going to invite Tanya up on screen with me again, because I want to see, once again, if we're going to have any problems related to image quality, and I want to see if having two people on from here is contributing to that in any way. So I just invited Tanya on, and if she's paying attention, she'll come on with me when she gets that. Here she comes. So,
of course I'm paying attention.
Tanya, how are the Valentine's Day hot dogs?
They were excellent. I mean, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite meals.
So we don't do hot dogs any other way, right? We only do them with the slot dog.
That's exactly right. It's slot dogs for the win.
All right.
This product has been officially endorsed by Tanya.
Does is it the Divine Chili? Is that what you call it?
Yes, it is Divine Chili and Transcendental Pimento Cheese.
The Transcendental Pimento Cheese. Okay.
It's that good. It will change your life.
So there's proof, guys, that I think somewhere on the Atlanta Grill Company YouTube channel, the chili. Oh, I bet that's what Sharon was asking me. You know, that just went right over my head. Sharon, that chili is on the Atlanta Grill Company. It's on the Atlanta Grill Company YouTube channel. I don't remember exactly what I called it, but it's there. And if you don't find it, shoot me a PM on Facebook, and I'll send you a link to it. But that's probably the chili she's asking for. But this chili's not like meal chili. This is definitely a condiment chili, and it's a chili that you put on hot dogs, hamburgers, nachos, or anything like that you might add a chili on as a topping. this chili has a very hot doggy flavor to it because it's got yellow mustard in it, and yellow mustard, makes chili taste like yellow mustard. The PYM's what we call that, the plain yellow mustard. So, all right. I don't remember where I wanted to round things up tonight. I was going to make a list of things I wanted to talk about so I wouldn't forget anything. Oh, I got some leftovers from last week that I didn't get to that I'll bring back this week. I've got two other things I wanted to show you guys that these were on the agenda for last week and they didn't make it to the table because of the problems I was having. I get this magazine. It's called Southern Cast Iron. I've been getting this for a while now. And if you like cooking in cast iron as much as I do, you might want to check this magazine out. I subscribe to it, and I get a lot of inspiration out of this magazine for things that I can cook in my cast iron and cook on the grill. And some of the stuff that you've seen me cook on the grill in cast iron pans has been inspired by stuff that I have found in this magazine. So, Southern Cast Iron, you might be able to find this on a magazine rack somewhere near you, like at a grocery store, but grab one of these if you haven't. They're stupid expensive on the shelf. They're $12.99 a piece, but you can subscribe to this for a year, which is like 6 issues, I think, for $20 or something. It wasn't bad. So that's something I was going to show last week. And another thing I was going to show was how to repurpose an empty pint bottle of Jack Daniels and turn it into a salt shaker. This just is a really good salt shaker, a countertop salt shaker. And what I did was I just took the lid off of this guy, and I took my 3/8" drill, and I used a 3/16 drill bit and put 5 holes in that. That's what I needed for the salt I use. I use this Diamond Crystal kosher salt. If you're using a finer grain salt, you might be able to get away with smaller holes, but this is perfect. I've got another bottle like this up here that's not empty yet, but when it's empty, I'm going to make a matching pepper shaker to go with it. So that's just something kind of cool. If you have an empty Jack Daniels pint bottle laying around. Jack Daniels Old Number 7 pints come in 2 different shapes of bottles. They've got one that looks like a flask, but they've got this one as well. So get one of these, cook with it if you don't want to drink it. Cook with the whiskey, and when the bottle's empty, you've got a great countertop salt shaker. I thought that was kind of cool. So what else am I missing tonight? What have I not talked about that we need to talk about? Does anybody have any questions for me tonight?
Well, John, you didn't ask me, but tonight I'm drinking a Zimbabwe coffee.
A Zimbabwe coffee?
Yeah, I am.
Well,
it is fruity and very light, has an acidy taste with hints of red berries, currants, and I think I just take cranberries.
Oh, yeah? Well, let me tell you something. I don't know if you noticed or not, but your buddy Scott Love was here earlier.
Oh, hi, Scott.
Scott's the guy, if you remember, that showed you that beautiful Jura coffee maker when you were with me last time at Atlanta Grill Company. The one that we talked about all the way home.
Yeah.
So, yeah. My wife has a Nespresso Latissima, or Latissimo, or whatever, that I bought for her for Christmas. I don't know how many years ago that's been now, but it's still in play here at the house. She still makes coffee drinks with it. And at the time, I didn't know that anything better than that existed. I thought that was probably the best thing out there until I showed up at Atlanta Grill Company and figured out what a Jura is. So, Oh, good Lord.
Well,
Scott,
Nespresso
um,
lovers, if you can get your hands on the Zimbabwe, it's one of those origin coffees, and it's a hard one to get in because there's not a lot of the that one is really good. And if you ever get a hold of the smoked Sumatran, that's good too.
okay. Well, let's see here. I'm looking at some of the numbers here of what's going on while Tanya's talking. I've been monitoring the Wi-Fi connection here, and we're not pushing anything hard at all. It's crazy. Everything's looking smooth. My CPU's not running hard. I haven't seen anybody say anything about any video quality issues tonight, and I'll have to go back and look at that after the fact. I don't know if we've had any. So we'll see. We're having video quality problems,
Just a
Tanya.
few. It's not been fabulous. And everyone says
Okay.
that I look better than you. And so I'm really hoping that they mean that
Well,
in general, that I do look better than you. But I know they're referring to the video camera
okay.
quality.
Once again, Bradley says that I'm grainy and you're not. So
Yeah.
did we were having the problem though before I brought you on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know what it's going to take. I'm going to go back and look at it and see how bad it is. And if it's as bad as it was last week, I'm probably going to ditch Crowdcast. I'm not going to spend the $90 a month I'm paying to use this service if I can't figure out the problem and if they can't help me figure it out. And I bought a brand new laptop to run this on. I've got a Core i7 laptop with 16 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. And if that's not fast enough to do this, then I can't afford to do it. So we'll go if my laptop is the problem, we're going to go back to streaming on Facebook because I wasn't having any video quality issues streaming directly to Facebook. Uh, I only have video quality issues streaming through Crowdcast, and it apparently only gives a problem on my computer. And Tanya's computer is a hell of a lot faster than mine. She's got the same laptop I've got, but it's a bigger version. It's a Core i9 with 32 gigs of RAM, and she also has a 4K video system on hers with a faster GPU than I do. We are both on Wi-Fi, but I don't think Wi-Fi is my problem. We've got a Linksys Velop router, mesh router system here with one node on each floor, and I'm looking at the node that I'm connected to. It's 15 feet away from me. I don't believe that my Wi-Fi connection is the problem. So we'll see. I'll look at it, and I'm gonna have Crowdcast analyze it for me one more time. But I don't know what to do. You know, it may be if my computer's not fast enough, then that's just gonna have to be how it is. I spent uh, $1,500 on this laptop, and I'm not going to spend what it takes to get what Tanya's got just to do this because I'm not making any money doing this. It's costing me a fortune though, so we'll see how it works out. I can't cable this to my router because this laptop doesn't have an RJ45 jack on it. But
Well,
we'll
we
go
could get
from
an
there.
adapter and try it.
Well, if we can get an adapter, if I can I get an adapter that plugs into the USB port that
Oh, yeah.
uh okay, well then maybe I'll try that and see if it changes anything. But if in fact if the problem's bad, that would be my only next step because if I'm still having quality issues, switching to the different browser hasn't appeared to have an impact on it, right?
Yeah, I don't think that it has. I mean, it
Okay.
was worth a shot to see if it was because, previously Chrome kept crashing. So I think it was worth a shot to try that. But ultimately, I don't think that played out.
Well,
So we got two
my
more
C
things that we could do.
my CPU's never gone over 25% utilization. I've been watching it. I've got a task manager up running here on the screen, and the Wi-Fi numbers here are weird. I'm not seeing what I would expect to see on the Wi-Fi side. When I was testing this, I was showing 3 megabits per second or so pushing out on the send side, but I'm seeing only 300 kilobits per second now, so something's not reading correctly there. It's just not doing what it should be doing. The Intel GPU is running at 9%, so nothing on my computer is straining. So if it's at my computer, the only thing it could be is the Wi-Fi connection. But I did a check. I am connected to this node down here, and we'll shoot at it from there. We'll see. Scott says, I don't know what Scott means by double hop. The node I'm connected to is the primary node. The one that I'm connected to here in the basement's the one that's connected directly to the cable modem. So we'll figure it out. I'll find if that's my next step. I'll find an adapter, and if I have to cable to it, we'll try it. No, Beth's asking me if I was on a different computer last night. No, I was on the exact same computer in the exact same location. So that doesn't make real sense to me either. This works on Thursday night with no problem, and it doesn't work on Friday night. I really am at a huge loss as to what's going on here, and I apologize for the problems, but I'm not going to put up with it much longer. If cabling directly to the router doesn't make anything different, I'm ditching Crowdcast. I like Crowdcast. I like this platform. It gives me the ability to do a lot of cool things, but I'm going to have to do without them if the video quality is horrible, because I wouldn't want to sit and watch a horrible quality video presentation either. It's just not worth it. So, yes, Scott, that's always a possibility, but it doesn't answer the question of why my video looks like crap and Tanya's doesn't, because we're brought that little piece of information right there is telling me the problem is at my computer. The only other thing I could try is I could try live streaming with my onboard web camera. I'm using an external web camera. I've got a really nice quality Logitech webcam here, and my problem might go away if I use the webcam that's on this laptop, but the video quality of this laptop's webcam's horrible. I don't know, but then again, it's horrible. It's probably better if it works than this one pixelating and giving me all the crap. Both of these, this is a USB 3 connection, so I don't know if the USB. Tanya, these things have got USB ports on each side. Is there any difference between one and the other?
Not that I recall, but I would have to just look.
Well, all right. We'll keep digging with that, and guys, I appreciate it. So until next week, Man Cave out.